Hey, I am BrettLeeClark, and this is my channel. In today's video, I'm going to review Scream 2022, aka Scream 5. If you didn't realize, I am a Scream fan. There's Stu, there's Drew, and there's some others over here. I'll show you like a picture of what's happening over here. So I'm a little bit of a Scream fanatic. I did want to wait a week before I gave my review because it was, I'm just gonna be honest, it wasn't what I was expecting, and I needed to think about it because if I had done a review the next day, it would have been a very negative review. Not very negative, but a little negative. So I wanted to wait and let it simmer and think about it some more and watch some more interviews with the cast and stuff before I put like my final thoughts on it. Also, I probably need to see it more than once to like fully grasp if I like it or not, or if it's like, you know, as bad as I remember it being. But it was not that it was bad, but it was not what I expected. Anyway, so let's get started. First of all, where's Nancy O'Dell? Nancy O'Dell. She's been in every Scream sequel except this one. In Scream 2, she talks to Tori Spelling. In Scream 3, she's in front of Courteney's house. And in Scream 4, she interviews Neve Campbell or Sidney Prescott about her book before, like while Gale's watching it on the computer. She's been in every sequel. So where's Nancy O'Dell? Well, she'd been perfect as like Gale's co-host. The Gale and Nancy show. Good Morning with Gale and Nancy. They could have had like wine, like they're on the Today Show, whole thing. So that's my first problem. Where's Nancy O'Dell? So before I get into it, spoiler alert, just be prepared. There are going to be spoilers. It's been out for a week, so if you haven't seen it, sorry. Another reason why I waited, didn't want it to be, you know, spoil it for anybody. And I want to be able to talk about spoilers without feeling guilty about saying who the killers were. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so first thing is like the trailer. So like the initial trailer of the movie, I was like, oh, it's not showing very much. But it showed pretty much the entire movie. Once you see the movie, you're like, oh, it did show a lot. There were no cool kills in this whole movie. There were gory kills and there were like close-up shots of stabbing, but that's all it was stabbing. We could have like done one kill that was like garage door-ish, not a garage door, but something of that nature, something that's not a knife to make it like more, you know, not a knife or a gun. Something just to give us like a, oh my God, I'm scared of this thing instead of garage doors. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. We didn't get anything like that. The opening, I love Jenna Ortega. She's a great actress. It was a great opening. I wish that they wouldn't have given away that she survives in the trailer, because if you watch the trailer more than once, you can tell that that's her in the wheelchair rolling down the hallway. So I wish they would have done that. I wish they would have just cut that scene out of the trailer and then we would have known that she survived. You know, just give us like make us think that she's gonna die in the opening. That's one thing that annoyed me, was that the trailer gave that away. Also, the fire scene in the trailer obviously gave away who the killer was. But anyway, and then I also knew, I went in knowing who one of the killers were based on the fire scene. It was just very obvious. If you watch any YouTube trailer breakdown video, it was like, that looks like Amber. And it's like, well, why would Amber be on fire in front of Sidney Prescott? She's probably the killer. So that was kind of annoying. One thing they should do is have like a boy opening for like the first time ever, have like just a boy, like Wes, for example. Like he had kind of like a boy C.C. Cooper type scene or Olivia Morris type scene. Like he was that middle kill, but they should have like a boy in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like a boy gets a phone call and a boy gets chased up the stairs. That would be different. It's always a girl. I don't get why it's always a girl. Anyway, that's just my thing. I don't know. As a gay boy who's grown up loving the Scream movies, I always wanted to see a boy chase scene in the opening. They kind of gave us one with like Mason Gooding running. That was pretty good, like a little chase scene. It was very Scream TV show. I didn't know if that was like an Easter egg for that or like a nod, because it was very Bella Thorne trying to unlock the cell phone with like her wet fingers and she couldn't. Same thing with him. He couldn't do it because he had bloody fingers. So I didn't know if that was a play on it or if they just didn't even realize it. I'm not sure, but I want a full boy chase scene, like a full-on boy chase scene one day. I don't know why, but that's something I feel like any Scream movie could use just once, you know. So after the opening, okay, let's talk about Sam. Melissa Barrera, she's a very big Scream fan. I can tell by the interviews I've watched her. She loves the Scream franchise. So like when I first saw the movie, I was like, I can't stand Sam's character. But I think it's not Melissa's fault. It's like the character's fault, because like, or the script's fault, because they gave her nothing for us to like her on. Like we immediately go in, it's like, within the first 2 minutes, she goes into like victim mode, like victim sad mode, and she never comes out of it really. So it's like we never got to see her like laughing and cutting like a little bit, but you never got to, like, to really feel her personality at all through the whole movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just always just like, oh my god, what's happening? I'm angry. There's some killer on the loose. I'm Billy's daughter. Blah blah blah. It was never like her being fun, I guess. Like with Sidney in the opening of Scream 1, after Casey dies, you get like her and Billy and her and her dad, and you get her, and then her and Tatum. You get a lot of her personality before she goes into that like, someone's after me. You know what I mean? So I wish they would have given Sam just like 5 more minutes. Why couldn't they give him like her and Jack Quaid 5 more minutes in the opening inside the bowling alley? Anything, just to give us some type of personality besides I'm a victim and Billy's my dad. Speaking of Billy being her dad, so again, okay, let me go back really quick. So for Sam's character, I did not like it in this movie, but I don't think it's the actress's fault. I think the actress is great. I think she's a good part of the franchise if they make her likable in part 6. They need to really work on her character development in part 6. And that's just my opinion. Also, Billy's ghost, or, you know, whatever. I don't know what to say about it. Like, it really bothered me out. Okay, so like, there's never been a supernatural element in any of the Scream movies. In part 3, her mom was there, but it was a dream sequence. So for her to like be hallucinating and seeing him as we saw him in part 1, like she didn't see that person. She never saw that Billy. So how would she know that's how he looked? Yeah, you could say like, oh, well, she watched Stab, but still, you know what I mean? So why would Luke Wilson in the damn window? You know what I mean? I didn't like the ghost or the whatever it was. And then, so the director said it was not a ghost, that it's her imagination. But if it's her imagination, how did her imagination say, the knife's under the curtain? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They could have done like Skeet one time. They should have Billy one time in the hospital, and then that's it. The rest of the time she could have heard voices or something. It was just, also like the whole fight scene at the end is like kind of ruined by like an awkward, you know, 10-second pause of her like looking at her dad in a mirror and him like looking down. But she was looking at the umbrellas, and I was thinking, oh, he's saying get the umbrella and do a Sidney Prescott from part 1. No, he was saying there's a knife hidden underneath the curtain you can't see. Go for it. At least that's, again, I've only seen it once, so maybe I'm wrong. But that's just how it came off, and I just didn't like. I did not like her delusion, or her like whatever it is, her imagination, the ghost, whatever you want to call it. I didn't like it. I just think they could have done without it. She could have been Billy's daughter without seeing him. I don't get why she had to see him. That scene of her and Jack fighting would have been so much better if it was just like, fight. I'm the daughter of a serial killer. Not, fight. Is that my dad in the mirror? Is he pointing to something underneath the curtain? Oh, let me get that. And now let me deliver my line. Like, it was just drawn out. And where were Sidney and Gale during that? They already set the girl on fire. Like, were they just hanging out in the kitchen waiting for that fight to be over with? It was a very awkward ending. It was a very weird paced ending that bothered me. Like, they're fighting in the kitchen, and then that's over. And then it cuts to, like, them fighting upstairs and then falling down the stairs. Like, where Sidney and Gale just like, okay, let her handle that part. Like, I didn't get what was going on there. Maybe both fights were happening at the same time and they just showed them to us individually. But I felt like it made the ending weird. I don't know. Maybe I need to see it again. I felt that was weird. Another thing is like, why do we need a new lead? No offense to Sam or Tara, but like everyone, when Sidney came on the screen, people applauded. Like clearly the fans want to see Sidney Prescott. We don't care about a new lead. So in part 4 and in this one, they've tried to give us a new lead with Sidney being like a side character. And it's like, clearly that's who we want to see. We want to see Sidney. So why can't, if we're willing to believe that she's going to leave her kids at home to go possibly die, like, why not just make her the main character? Why not have like a neighbor realize who she is? Her name's whatever. Her name's something else. McKay, or what's her last name? Mark Kinkade. So like her name is something else with the last name, like Laura Kinkade or whatever you want to make it. And her neighbor figures out that that's Sidney Prescott, and her neighbor's an obsessed fan, and he goes after her and her family. Or something, anything, besides like, let's kill people and see if Sidney leaves her kids and husband behind to come back to possibly die. Like, that's way more far-fetched than just someone figuring out who she is in whatever town she lives in and going after her. that make sense? I don't know. I just felt like they keep doing this thing where they're like, Sidney's not the main character, but there she is, because that's who you want. Then give her to us. Like, why are you putting her to the side? Just give us a Scream, like with Neve Campbell and Gale as the main two characters. Like, why can't they be the main two characters still? I don't get it. I feel like Hollywood thinks that we want young people, but clearly, no, we don't, because we want to see Sidney. Everyone's complaining because Sidney's not in it enough. So why not let us see Sidney? Does this make sense? Okay, I'll get off my Sidney rant. I just don't get it. Like, if she's there, go ahead and use her. I will say I love the twins. They were great. Mason Gooding and, what was her name? I forgot her name. Jasmin is her name. She's Mindy in the movie. She's great. She's a scene, I would think she's a scene stealer. Like, when she's when they show her, I'm just like, oh, look at you. Like, I liked her a lot. I think she should be like, I don't know. Don't kill her off, please. Don't pull a Randy and kill them both off in the next one. Also, okay, there were some plot holes, but maybe not plot holes, but maybe plot holes. I talked to one of my Insta-gays, like one of my Insta-gay friends is a Insta-horror gays. I talked to one of my Insta-horror gay friends, horror gay on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? There's lots of us out there. I talked to one of them on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, by the way, if you're a horror gay, BrettLeeClark. And I was like, did you feel like it was a plot hole? Because Sam says that every stab movie, the whole plot of the whole movie is that the fans want Sidney, which makes it more, like, the whole plot of the movie is the fact that fans want Sidney back in the movie. But they didn't put Sidney back in, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? So anyway, the whole plot of the movie is that they want Sidney back in the Stab franchise. So when Sam's talking about it in the car, she says, well, Sidney was in all but the last one, which if you watch part 4, the girl says Sidney was in all the first 3, and then she started to sue them if they continued using her story. So I was like, okay, so was she in all 3, or was she in the first 7? Because there's two different answers from 2 different movies. My Insta friend said, well, I think that maybe like Stab 4, 5, 6, and 7 or Sidney, but it wasn't her story. So they used the name, but not the story. Maybe that's what, I don't know. I felt like that was like a plot hole. Like, so is she in all of them except for part 8, or is she in only the first 3? So that was a plot hole. Also, the basement door was like, I know they built a set for the house, but the basement door is the same door that Stu walks backwards into when he goes to retrieve Sidney's father. So it's like, is that a door you can walk backwards into, or is it a staircase right there? That's something else. I was just like, why didn't we just recreate the garage? I don't get why we had to have a basement. It doesn't make any sense. Why can't we just do the garage and recreate the garage instead of adding a basement? Does that make sense? I don't know. I felt like it was just weird. I don't know. Those are my 2 complaints about like plot holes. Again, I need to watch it probably again and see. Anyway, so things that I liked. Or let's talk about Easter eggs. Easter eggs. Kirby's alive. Okay, that kind of helps fix the movie. So Kirby, if you watch like the Dead Meat YouTube video, and like one of the recommended videos is Kirby interview with Woodsboro survivor Kirby Reed, and has a picture of Hayden Panettiere. So clearly Kirby's alive. That's good. I saw someone comment on a video that there was that Dewey had a missed call from Kirby, but I haven't seen anyone else talk about that, so I don't know. Some other Easter eggs were like the lemon square note. I guess everyone saw that. That was a very obvious Easter egg. Another thing, I didn't see this, but my Insta horror gay friend did see it, and it was in Dewey's house. There was the ash. I think I did notice ashes there, like an urn, but I didn't realize it was Tatum's ashes. So Tatum's ashes are in Dewey's house, which is sad. I cried, by the way, when Dewey was like texting Gale with the smiley face. I was like, ugh, like a little tear just pile up right here. I just turned my head like this and let it just puddle up for a second. And then when that scene was over, I was like, yeah, so, and just wiped my eye with my hoodie sleeve. I also cried when he like gets, killed, and he like looks at the phone, and he like smiles right before he dies because he sees this Gale calling. That was kind of sad. And I cried when Gale knew he was dead. I cried a little. Not when I say cried, I mean like just 1 tear, maybe 2 tears came out. And then when Sidney saw Gale, I cried again. I was like, ah. Anyway, it was very sad. I feel like they should have given Sidney, like in the very beginning when she's on the phone, she could have been like, I love you, Dewey. You've always been like a big brother to me, or something. Just like one little extra, like, I love you, or something. Knowing he's gonna die, they could have given us a little bit more of a Dewey-Sidney connection before he died. Also, Sidney is married to Mark Kinkade. That's pretty cool. Maybe. They said Mark, so it's probably like, if Patrick Dempsey doesn't want to come back, we'll just find someone else to say, it wasn't that Mark. So we'll see, I guess. But that was what they were hinting at, even though Neve Campbell herself wasn't even aware of that, because I saw an interview with her and she was like, huh? So anyway, Mark Kinkade is supposedly married to Sidney. We'll see. So I don't even think I completely hate it. I did not completely hate the movie. I'm not sure where it ranks yet. I right now in my head I'm thinking it's like dead last, but maybe not. I gotta watch it a few more times. Again, I prefer Sidney over anyone else, and I prefer Sidney and Gale over new cast members. So I don't know. Maybe that was the problem. But I didn't hate it. It was a fun movie. It was enjoyable. It was gory. I like the fact the killer would use like this type of move to like stab, you know? Like, as in like, I'm gonna overpower you in my hand. I like the Deputy Judy and West scene. That was really good. And then that caused the 4 West sign in the background during the ending, which I thought was really cool. I wish I just shot it a little bit wider so you could see it like during the whole, like, you know, see it more during that ending fight scene with Gale and Sidney and Amber. I like the fact that finally Gale got a final fight scene. It's always Sidney, if you think about it, like in part 1. Gale saved the day in part 1, but Sidney got all the fight scene action. Part 2, Gale's there, but she gets shot and falls into a hole. Part 3, Gale's there, but she's not in the same room as Sidney and the killer. Part 4, Gale's there, but she gets tackled by Deputy Judy, and then Sidney does all the work. So finally, Gale got a scene. It was the perfect scene to be, because she had got her revenge for the death of Dewey, which made me like, I may have laughed out loud in theater, like as like a giddy, happy laugh, like ha ha, like it was so weird. Like it wasn't like that type of laugh. It was like I was trying to hold my excitement back for like, you're just like, you can have it, bitch, or like, you know, I forgot what she said that made me like chuckle and like a girl's kicking ass. But I really did like that a lot. I wish they changed her hair. I wish she had changed her hair though, because it was too much like part 4, and I feel like Gale always has a different hairstyle, and that's the fun part about Gale Weathers, is that she's always different looking, and you know, like what's Gale gonna look like in this one? That's what I prefer, is always a different. I wish they'd done like the part 1 hair, but like a modernized version, like a dark version of the part 1 hair. That would have been pretty fun. I loved when Sam got her final revenge too, like after the whole Billy ghost thing. Like I loved it, like she just kept going to town. That was good too. I like the fact that Randy's niece and nephew survived. That was pretty good. There was a lot of survivors if you think about it. There weren't that many deaths, but like there were 6 survivors in the end, so that's pretty good, right? Yeah, at least 6 survivors. And I also like the fact that it took a lot of stabs, because in real life, if you were to stab somebody once, I feel like Jill's mom died too easily in part 4. That kind of annoyed me. And also the what's her name? What was her name? Rebecca. This is Rebecca. I feel like she also died too easily, like with 1 or 2 stabs. And you only hear 1 stab, but if you look at the footage, she has, when he pulls back, there's 2 stab wounds. And Rebecca, there's a little part 4 trivia for you. You only hear it stab once, but when the camera pulls out wide, there's 2 stab holes in her, which would have made it make more sense for why she passed out. But anyway, yeah, with the West scene, like when West Hicks gets killed, I wish they gave him a little bit more of a scene, like. Maybe he tases them, and then the knife comes out, and he's like holding his neck, and he's like running through the house. To give him like a little bit of a chase scene, just something extra, because I feel like he was just. They both kind of like died quickly. Like it was a drawn out scene, but then the actual death parts were kind of fast. Does that make sense? Like he didn't realize he was in danger for 90% of the scene, and then you know by the time he realizes he's in danger, he's dead. I wanted a little bit more like, oh shit, let me get away, but then I don't get away. You know what I mean? I also felt there was not as many jump scares. I feel like the scream with the most jump scares is part 3, and it's not even the killer that causes the jump scenes. There's a lot of like tapping people on the shoulder, like Parker Posey tapping Courteney Cox on the shoulder, or this person tapping that person on the shoulder, or like this person running into that person. Oh, the bodyguard grabbing Gale Weathers from behind. There's lots of little jump scenes in part 3 that I feel like a lot of the other movies don't have. In this movie, I think I jumped maybe twice the whole time. Again, I need maybe to see it again, but like all the scenes, like the Ghostface coming out of the closet was ruined by the trailer. So like, I don't know. I went in thinking like, I haven't seen how anyone's gonna die, really. I've seen some knife things, but I haven't seen that much. But then I realized that's all there is. It's just knife scenes. So I guess I have seen it all. I like how Sidney just like went to the house shooting. Like she just like started shooting any doors. She didn't care. That was pretty funny. And then Jack Quaid's character getting shot, and like, I don't know, I like that part too. I love Jack Quaid. I like his character. He's a cutie. I think he's adorable. So I'm glad he was in it, and I like how he switched. His personality like flipped. I honestly didn't even realize it was gonna be him. Like when it came down to it, and Sidney shot him, I was like, oh god. I was like, I kind of still believed he wasn't the killer. I was like, maybe it is Jenna Ortega. That'd be a weird twist. Like that somehow she's in on it, even though she's been in the hospital the whole movie. Like, but no, it was him. So I really liked his character. I thought he was funny and cute. I mean, he is cute. So. But okay, so don't think I hated the movie. I didn't hate it as a whole. I did like it, and it was fun, and it was gory, and it was a Scream movie. I just wish there were a few things different, or there's there's a few things that could go. But I'm not saying it's a terrible movie. Speaking of it not being a terrible movie, let's talk about the box office, huh? Because this is a good thing, because the box office is great, because that means that they're going to keep making them, and they're going to keep coming back. Also, when we left the theater, really quick, and I'll get to the box office. When we left the theater, we saw opening night. It was in Orlando. We saw opening night, and when we left, they gave us... Did I already show you this? Did I already show you this? They gave us these. Okay, because they didn't show it already. They gave us these posters. I framed it myself. But they gave us these posters. And then they gave us, we didn't give everybody, but they were asking as you were walking out, do you want to take a survey? And I was like, fuck yeah, I want to take a survey. So they gave us this iPad, and I should have had my husband take a picture of it. But it had questions. At first I thought it was just going to be like a survey to like see like what age range came to see it, what ethnicity came to see it, and that sort of thing. Which it did ask those things. It asked my age and if I was, what ethnicity I was, and all that sort of thing. And then they asked like income. And then it got into questions. I sort of got. It said things like, "Oh, who would you like want to see in the sequel? Like, who would you prefer to follow if the movies continue?" They even asked like, "Would you want to see Ghostface face off at other horror movie characters?" And then like, if you want to, there was one that was like about like, do you prefer Ghostface using a knife, or would you prefer other things? It was the weirdest like questionnaire, but it would ask a question, and then it'd be like 15 multiple choices to where you're just like, I can't. Like, I was just like, I'm trying to hurry up. There were like 20 questions, maybe 30. It didn't like, it would ask a question. They were like, why did you come see this movie? And it'd be like, I'm a fan of the Scream franchise. I like horror movies. My friend brought me. And it would literally list off every actor just about like, I'm a Neve Campbell fan. I'm a Courteney Cox fan. I'm this person. And then you get like, you can only select one, and sometimes you can select multiple. So it was just the strangest thing. And then I always would put like the original cast was like as my people I'd want to see in the sequels. I put that, I don't know. It was just a really weird questionnaire that like be like, do you guys not know what you're doing? Like, do y'all not like call me? I can help you out with part 6. Yeah, or call somebody, call anybody, call. Just have fans on set that help you out. Like, jeez, I don't know. It just felt weird. I don't know. But they didn't know what they were doing. It was strange. But at the same time, I'm happy they're doing that so that maybe they can learn and figure out what to do for the sequel to make it better. I didn't see, unless I like overlooked it, I didn't see them say anything about Kirby in the questionnaire, but definitely mentioned Gale Weathers a lot and Sidney. And then also the new cast, like Tara. I selected Tara as one of the new cast members I liked, and Mindy. And then there's a bunch of other stuff. But anyway, just so you know, I guess they are trying to make a sequel, and they're trying to figure out, like, well, obviously they're trying to make a sequel, because the box office, that's where I was going. Okay, let's go back to the box office. Okay, the box office. This is so people understand, like, can grasp, like, how big of a box office this is for the pandemic. We're gonna break it down for you. I will break it down for you. So, okay, Scream's budget was only $25 million. In the opening weekend, it already made 30, okay? So it's already made its money back. Of course, there's like marketing budgets and stuff. So yeah, it needs to make a little bit more to fully balance out. But for the most part, it's doing way better than other movies, because here we go. You ready? So what's currently in theaters, like other movies that are currently in theaters that came out in the past like month or so, this is their numbers and their budget, okay? The 355 is like a female like action movie with lots of like high profile actors in it, right? It was a $75 million budgeted movie. And in the opening weekend, it only made $4.6 million. It's been in the theater for 2 weeks now, right? So it's been out for longer than Scream, and it's only made $8 million total. $75 million budget, only made $8 million total so far. Obviously, it'll keep going as of filming this video, according to IMDb. Okay, so obviously they've lost some money, right? So the good thing is this means there's gonna be a lot of slasher movies coming out, because studios are gonna be like, oh, wait a minute. This is a cheap thing we could do and make a lot of money. Let's keep going. Another movie that came out, The West Side Story. So West Side Story, $100 million budget, right? It's been out for 6 weeks, and it's only made $33.7 million. Opening weekend, it only made $10 million. And it's a Steven Spielberg $100 million picture. So Steven Spielberg can't bring in 30 million. Like Scream brought in more in one weekend than a Steven Spielberg $100 million picture brought in 6 weeks combined. All 6 weeks combined. It still didn't make what Scream made in one weekend. Does that make sense? Another one, The Kingsman, which is also which is a franchise, right? The Kingsman, or what's that? You know what I'm saying? The Kingsman, whatever it's called. It's a franchise. It's like, what, part 3 now? It's been out for 4 weeks, and it's only made $28 million. It had an $81 million budget. It's been out for 4 weeks, and in 4 weeks, it's only made $28 million. That was an $81 million picture. Like, it cost them $81 million to make. So it's tripled the budget, and in 4 weeks, it's only made $28 million. Another franchise that's out in theaters currently is The Matrix. Now, The Matrix was released on HBO Max and in theaters, so that could be one reason why it didn't do as well. Its budget was $190 million for The Matrix 4. $190 million. The opening weekend, it only made $10 million. And it's been 4 weeks now, and it's made $35.8 million. So in 4 weeks' time, a $190 million picture has only made $5 million more than Scream made in its first weekend. Isn't that crazy? So yes, studios will definitely be like putting out a lot more slasher movies, and there's gonna be like a lot less action movies, I guess. Maybe like superhero movies, because obviously Spider-Man's doing good, and superhero movies do good in general. But I feel like there's a lot. It's gonna be like a weird change in Hollywood coming the next like 2 or 3 years. Because why spend $190 million when you're not gonna get it back? Scream's budget was $24 million and already made 30. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, that's good. Hopefully we'll get some more Screams. We'll get some more slashers. Can you see it over there? I Know What You Did Last Summer. Can you see that right here? I can't tell on my camera. And then we got some Urban Legend. Maybe we'll get some of those back. I doubt it, but maybe. Never know. Please don't do Urban Legend Final Cut again, or I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. They need to do I Know What You Did That Summer. Because that could be 20 years in the future, 25 years in the future. I know what you did that summer, instead of I'll still know, I'll always know. I know what you did that summer. Maybe we'll get that. Okay, so my final thoughts on Scream. Yay, it did great at the box office. I like the fact that they're bringing the series back. I just had to be honest and give my honest opinion on the flaws of the movie. Overall, was it terrible? No, it was not terrible. Was it fun to watch? Yes, it was fun to watch. But as a Scream super fan, there were problems. If you have to be honest, you have to be honest. There were problems, okay? But I enjoyed it. I'm glad it's there. I'm glad it did great at the box office. I'm glad we're gonna get more Scream movies, most likely. I'm glad we're gonna get more horror movies, most likely. I love it. I'm excited for this revitalization of horror. Yay! If I had to rate Scream on a scale of 1 to 10, I am not sure. Leaving the theater, I actually did enjoy leaving the theater. I was like, yeah, that was the shit. Because I was like coming off the high of Gale Weathers kicking ass. I'd probably give it like an 8.5 coming out of the theater. Now I'd probably say like more like 6 out of 10. We'll see. I gotta watch it again. Like I said, maybe it was just because I always go in like with Scream movies, and the first time I watch it, I always have like this weird like blur in my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm so excited, and then it's like, yeah. I'll rewatch it a few more times, and I'll rank the Scream franchise and see where it places. Maybe it's my top 3. We'll find out. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Again, I am BrettLeeClark. You can follow me on Instagram and subscribe if you like movies, cooking, or product reviews, or random videos, because I do all kinds of stuff, even Britney Spears. So, yeah, thanks so much, and bye.